Dear friends, I thought that there was some problem with live streaming. I'm sorry, I'm just on, and we continuing. I hope so. There's just a good day. Okay, it's we walking now direction the smallest church and the passage invisible in the main market square. You see the snow cover. The temperature morning was the -7 degrees Celsius. And hello, Silda. So thank you. That's just joining the tour. Just one moment. Oh, I put my gloves and 1 moment. Oh, that's just much better. I got the tripod and this is just better. Oh. Okay. And as I said, that is just the film sets from the Schindler's List. Took for Steven Spielberg over 70 days. It was the film sets were not only in Krakow but also in other towns, other places. The last scenes in the Jerusalem, and that was just a big challenge for the whole film crew. Let me see that side. That was the fresh after communism. You see the life. Then now is the weekend. The people strolling slowly the main royal route, but we leaving the old town of Krakow and slowly getting with the shortcut to the Embassy Street. That I want to show you interesting details on the way. That is just the Krakow Brooklyn, so-called. That's why we're going now to the Krakow Brooklyn. As a just very secret passage. There's the house under Golden Carp. You could watch the vlog with the Etienne Humbert, the famous architect. He made the whole project of that beautiful house. You see the Veseles, the wedding, as the one of the beautiful folk restaurants closed, but recommended also the. See the interesting nativity crypts, and we get into the secret passage. You know, there's the dozens of the pubs. Now is some recommendation. Hello, Passion. Thank you. That's now I see who is watching. Very sorry for the first broken broadcasting. There was something was wrong at the beginning, but now I manage it. And look at this. We're walking to the Krakow Brooklyn, so-called. But imagine the full of people. That's just you see the different kinds. There was like a kamikaze, B-52, and so on. Now is everything closed. And also the Golden Carp. You could taste here the best delicious fish from Poland, the carp. Very thank you, Marilu, Mila. See all are, and then you see Krakow Brooklyn. Why the Brooklyn? There was before was the cinema. I remember from there was no cartoon films, only in the one channel. That was the smallest cinema in Krakow, Kino Passage. You see Passage Bielaka, and that was just closed that cinema, and they reorganized for the clubbing passage. You see the name Passage. Z with then we pronounce like a Ż. Passage Bielaka. But that now is just very empty. And in one moment you see the embassy, so-called Embassy of Herring. It's such joking name. We're going to the Embassy Street, but former barber shop then turned into that's just a pub with the we say herring as the specialty, different tapas, and the famous vodka Baczewski. Now we get into the Consulate Street. Oh, there's you see barrier because the snow is falling from the roofs. That's why it's just invisible. That was just this magic passage, and the club Embassy of Herring. And adjacent the tram bar. Why the damn tram bar? You see the seats there are like in the tram. The street is called the Joiners Street, and you know that's just the joiners. They've got such a good job, and they make the furnishing for the trams. That's why there was the tram bar. There you see the Polish cuisine, same with the different dumplings, the pierogi. That's the symbol of Polish cuisine. And there was the former Dominicans workshops. You see now security guards because he is the consulate of Germany. Because there was Krakow is over 33 consulates. There's the US American consulate, and then French consulate. The General Consul of France is just in the adjacent Yellow House. That's why Yellow House, and on the right, American. But I want to show you interesting, only one such statue. We say statue as a sculpture of bull. There's always the tourists, they couldn't see such interesting sculpture. But look at this. There's the made of the metal, the craftsman, the collecting the old scraps, the different parts of the buggers, and that is just the constructed such modern art bull, so-called the bull. Oh, look at this on this side. Oh, this is much better. In the background, American consulate. Yes, and we going direction Kazimierz, still to the island. As I said, the former there was the competitive town to Krakow. There were the Jews and Christian used to live together. In one moment, you see the coat of arms of Dominicans. The name Dominicans, the monastery, they came from the you see the dog and the symbol of Dominicans, the same international symbol of the whole Dominicans in the world. They were very involved in the Inquisition in the medieval, but later they became very friendly for Christians. Also, there's the very popular holy services for youth, for students every Sunday. That's why you see in one moment I showing you the interesting malarskie inspiracje. Thank you, dziękuję. As I look at this, that is the facade of Dominican, the Holy Trinity. That part is the completely neo-Gothic because it was the big fire, and that part burned completely. And Dominican Square, that was supposed as the old center of Krakow, very old center. There's a lot of secrets under the surface of the Dominican Square. But as I said, we're leaving the old town. I don't want a long stay in that part because on our goal is the getting the Kazimierz as there's our destination, and the facts connecting more with the Jewish heritage, for instance, Jewish Christian heritage. Look at this on the left. The narrowest part of the street, that the tram is getting very narrow passage, and in the background the Franciscan monastery. Krakow is called the Little Rome, 100 churches, the biggest amount in Europe. You could compare only with Rome, with them all Florence. And now is just a Saturday, just the weekend started. Usually Krakow had 1,000 pubs and restaurants. There was as I said 2 years ago, over 16 million visitors in Krakow. The Krakow was the top destination in the world, next to New York, Paris or London. I got a lot of groups that switch they're visiting London, for instance, to visit Krakow. And then we're getting, look at this, the green belt. That is the edge of the old town. And now we're touching the matters connecting with Second World War. Real music, hello. And imagine, so what happened at the beginning of Second World War? The Krakow was occupied by the Germans and Nazi Germany. And they changed the whole system of the location. The Jews had to leave the old town, and here in the green belt, so-called Planty, there was the edge that the Jews could live. They lived. Okay. Oh, I see there was something broken. As I repeat, the Jews were permitted only to move between the old, the General Post Office, and the Wawel Castle. That is the direction we're going, direction Wawel Castle. That is the green belt around the old town, like a ring. And that is just a very the old plantation on the former city moat. You know, the city, the moat was full of water. Now I'm looking for the very important bench that I want to show you, connecting with Diana Reiter. That is you see each bench, they've got such special code, the barcode, that you could get the fragment of the history of such famous poet, songwriters, people connected with Krakow has history. That's why look at this. That's just oh yes, okay. I know it's something like a magic, because as very freshly I discovered her name. There are hundreds of such names. Now let's focusing on the Diana Reiter. You know, if you didn't watch the Schindler's List as your homework, that was the moment that the Jews had to build the new barracks in the Plaszów concentration camp in Krakow. And the commandant of concentration camp, Nazi commandant Amon Goeth, Ralph Fiennes played in that role, said to the Jews to build the new barracks. She was educated Jew from Milan University, in Krakow University also, and she was the first female architect in the history of Poland, and I'm sure history of Krakow. And then she started negotiation with the Amon Goeth. She said the construction is worse, they should be constructed better. And Amon Goeth, without waiting, the order to shoot her. That's why she was shot by Amon Goeth. That was the scene. Diana Reiter, before she was killed, she said, it will take more than that. That was just one of the many victims of Amon Goeth, commandant. That was just the sentence to death after war. You could watch another my vlog from Red House. His villa is still present in concentration camp Plaszów. In English, I describing more about the history of Amon Goeth, the bloody commandant, killed over 500 Jews in Plaszów concentration camp, Nazi Germany time. Yes, that is just a little moment that we jump to the Second World War. But look at this on the left. Before war, the very rich citizens used to live in Krakow. Look at this. What is there over there? Hello, Elutek. On the left is the old cinema of Krakow, Kino Wanda. I remember the films there too. But today is the normal grocers. No more cinema. And on the right, the Hotel Monopol. You see the upper part was the new rebuild, and they make the 4-star hotel Best Western in Krakow Monopol. But it's just not only that hotel, the whole street Gertrudy, we walking along the Gertrudy Street, there were buildings just constructed at the beginning of 20th century. That was just beginning of the new architecture of Krakow for the richer citizens. And there's like an interzone, oh, there's the dogs, between the Kazimierz and Krakow. That's it just. Let's see the sounds a little. On your right, you could see the monasteries. There's another, the nuns, then the Jesuits, as the old town is on my right. And on the left, imagine there were the different, we say, Vistula River. Okay. Oh, just is better position. Okay, make a stabilization a little bit for you. And you see at the edge, so-called the hostel legend, but it's the very secret street that I want to show you the interesting hidden facts around the Krakow Freemasonry, and again the interesting, very interesting people. They used to live there. Even Nobel Prize person from there. The 2 Nobel Prize people from Krakow, and the Joseph Sare, like a Sarah. You see, it sounds Jewish again, the surname, but it's the surname of the president of Krakow in the 100 years ago, Joseph Sare. That's why just let me get closer. There was the former Deutsche Bank there. Now is the nothing on the ground floor. You see. Just better of the view. And now you see the edge of the old town, the Jesuits church behind, the red, and the Planty, the green belt of Krakow. And now we're diving a little bit to the interzone, to the former riverbed Vistula. Lutek, thank you. That's just looking very superficial what you're writing. Okay, it's just the temperature is not just warmer. Morning was the minus 7 degrees Celsius in Krakow. I got the big problems to start the car. Now is the only minus 4 degrees, no wind. That's why wind chill factor is very friendly. And have a look. There's interesting gardens, secret gardens. That house not so very restored, but look at this opposite. If you watch my film about the Freemasonry, that was the old lodge of the Freemasonry of Krakow, so-called the Grand Orient from Poland. There was like a Grand East from Poland, and you see the symbol at the top. Today is any candle factory. Candles are made there. You could watch my another vlog about the Freemasonry in Krakow. Today is no more used as the for the such duties. What is the interesting, the symbolic meaning of the number of the house, number 7. You see the characteristical the two columns on the loggia. That is the Sharokina Street number 7. But now let's take a little some funny things. If you like, that is just the cartoonist with the Jewish background. They have to emigrate. Have a look. Nathan Gross, there was the poet, writer, filmmaker from Krakow. In 1950, he had to emigrate to Israel and they died there. Here's the written Krakow, I never forget you, then it's in Hebrew. That is the Nathan Gross. And adjacent, his brother, Joram Jerzy Gross, emigrating to Australia. And you see, you've got the even English director and producer animated films, was born in that house. And look at this. That is the famous Blinky Bill, the little bear koala, very sweet. And I recommend you such cartoons. There's the event for the adults, very funny, as mainly production of Walt Disney. And we getting around the corner to the theatrical street, Bogusławski, that was the famous theater headmaster and made a very interesting place for the theater. But there is the place that two very interesting persons that used to live. Professor of the university, Osia Stone. In one moment we see his play. But the opposite, the laureate of the Nobel Prize, Czesław Miłosz. One moment we getting this fresh restored house. You see the beautiful restoration of the houses, the steel Christmas trees, and look at this. Oh, here used to live the Abraham Osia Stone, 1905, 1536. Then with the details, with the visiting Jewish quarter, I tell you about him more. Because he was made the foundation of the progressive synagogue. Before war, every 25% of Krakowians were Jewish, and that's why the such form of the just fresh restored house. But let me get to the house that was the Nobel Prize person used to live, Czesław Miłosz. Yes, he was born just before war on the Lithuanian part. You see Bogusławskiego Street. In his life, he said he never arrived, he supposed he never arrived the true love. Also, there's just his poetry was around the very controversial matters, but because they touching the minorities of Poland. Then during the communists, he had to emigrate to California. and then at the end of life decided to come back to Krakow, and at the age 93 he died in Krakow. Exactly here used to live. And again, there was a lot of big Kazimierz. In the Christian part was yet Czesław Miłosz. You see about the Czesław Miłosz in my vlog about the Skaleczna Street, the Rocky Street. That is, I thought, about the church in the Christian part of Kazimierz. And you know, only few steps to the old Vistula riverbed. That is, you know, usually as a tourist, you are taking by taxi or just running very quickly between the old town and Kazimierz, and you passing by the such interesting interzone between old town and Kazimierz. You see the still restored houses in Krakow. As the before war, the rich citizens used to live in that part between Kazimierz and old town. One moment to see the part and the behind the garden of the missionaries Orden. Over 30% of Krakow area is just the gardens and monasteries. The monasteries and even the convents. In one moment, you have to imagine that was the former Vistula river, old Vistula, so-called Stara Wisła. Exactly 140 years ago, the Wisła was the backfield, and they reorganized for the luxurious alley. Today there are trams in the middle and double carriageway, Ditla, so-called. You could feel like in Amsterdam, because under us is the channel. The channel is not YouTube channel, but just the former, the channel made 140 years ago. In one moment is the better imagination, you see better view. You see the tram on the path, that's just the Ditla. On that time is the old town. We're staying exactly in the former Vistula river. There's the Sebastiana Street, we're coming from that part, we're coming from there. And on that line, the new houses, completely nice, today refurbished, a lot of hotels there. And that direction is currently Vistula River. That's why the Vistula River was redirected. And that part was made, Kazimierz just became very strong connected with the Krakow. Kazimierz became the district of Krakow since 1800. That was the just independent town of Krakow, competitive to Krakow, since the famous king Kazimierz the Great. There was the king that had a famous Jewish lover, Esterka. I told you that story twice, I think, in the vlogs. And the house of Esterka I could see in the vlog about the Krakowska Street. There's just, I told more about that. That's just a little spooky because there's just almost no one here. I remember there was just even one pharmacy with the Hebrew letters with the commercial part, but now is just everything closed. Even the pharmacy was out from that corner because, you know, over 80% of people there, they were tourists. All apartments were full of visitors, and now just everything is frozen. That's why there's no tourists in that corner. And we are very close to the proper Jewish Broadway, so-called, the Sharokina Street, the heart of Jewish former town and later district. That square, they should be called after name of Mordechai Gebirtik. Who was there? There's just in one moment. I show you very interesting corner that only 1% guides, I think, they want to show the such reconstructed so-called apartments. They like we could ask how the Jews used to live in Kazimierz before Second World War. It was just very poor Jews, you know. they were just the poorest state in Kazimierz, and the richer, they decided to move to the old town, getting, hello, disconnected from his sheet. Okay, perfect. And now I tell you the completely thing that you never heard, I think, about the such tradition. That fact is only known in Israel. Look at this. The Mordechai Gebirtig. And he's written, "Be healthy, my Krakow." How important now the such it does a just sentence. And look at this. He used to live in the years the joiner, poet, and songwriter. This plate was made in the third Jewish festival 1993, and the owner of the cellars there, they decided to organize the and that is even the names you see of the Mordechai. His wife was Bluma. Daughters, he had 3 daughters: Shifra, Basia, and Lola. At first, I tell you that he used to live before Second World War, and then during the Second World War they were relocated to ghetto, and then all were sent to concentration camp. But the Mordechai Gebirtig was shot just during the liquidation action in the ghetto. That's why all they finished. What is the most important fact? You know, he impresario from the Hollywood star Molly Picon, they got the patent of the songs of him to the Hollywood films, and today we don't know even that was just his work, the famous some Hollywood songs of him. The famous song, there was even the anthem of the Jewish insurgents. There was the Es brennt, my town is burning, the famous, or the Arbeitslose Marsch, as but the song of the unemployed people, so-called, because he was the socialist, and that's why Mordechai Gebirtig is now the big project to make the better museum. But what is the very special with this window that you see the street, and that window is still open since March till the end of the beginning of October. The window is still open, and inside you could get the songs. You could hear the Yiddish different songs on the CD. It costs the owner to put such music, but it's the powerful tradition. The neighbors are very friendly, and they permitted for the such commemorating tradition of the Yiddish songs, because he was the songwriters in Yiddish. Yiddish is like a German, but it's the independent language. The 85% is just almost the Germans they could understand, but there was the songwriter in Yiddish, but it's very important. The tradition with regular such songs are kept there. And we're getting to the interesting square there with the project to call after him, Gebirtig, Mordechai Gebirtig Square. There was just the such project, but after starting discussion with neighbors, with the people, they changed the name for Kółeczko as the circle. That's why exactly here you could see very interesting name as the square Kółeczko, and just overlook of the very secret corner that I said less than 1% of tourists get that corner. On my live stream tools, I want to show you the such out of beaten tracks corners. There's the just almost invisible to get on the classical guided tour. They are so-called the special tours. That's why you could appreciate a little my effort, because special tours, they've got a special price as always. One moment, okay, because was something I see there's something transmission LTE is the broadcasting is for 1 second out. That's why I stopped talking. Oh, you see the confectionery is just open. There's any cakes, nice. I recommend you Sharlotka. That is the apple pie. There's the just symbolic Sharlotka. Is the excellent pie from Krakow. That's just a apple pie classical. That is on of the Krakow art. And we're getting the Birch Street, Brzozowa. Just we are very close to the modern apartments. They were built in the just a few years ago. Also good, more than 10 years ago. You see the luxurious shops in the ground floor. That's just the beginning of the real Jewish quarter. And in the background, you could see the long wall. That is just the Jewish cemetery. That is the topic that we touching in the next live stream, because that the next part I want to show you in the next following tour around the Jewish Broadway and other corners of Kazimierz. We're getting a Miodowa Street. You see again interesting souvenirs on the path, and Honey Street, Miodowa. Here is the just real heart of the Jewish part. Hello, greetings. Disconnected from, thank you for the joining. And you see on the left the building of the school, as this still that part was used as for the elementary school, as the little gallery with modern art. Just everything is just closed, but we hope I'm very optimistic. I hope soon everything started. That's why let me split our tours for the such parts. At first today we doing the tour till the Jewish Broadway. Now you see the Sharokina Street. You could see on my vlog Jewish Broadway, exactly that corner. You see the shops on the left, former reconstructed, and that is the just highlight. But you know, I want to make such live stream every 3 days, and I want to split the live streams for the such we say salami tactic. Now we doing that. We continuing the tours in the 3 days. I think that 3 p.m. that would be good for you. That is the just global time, because in Asia or the friends from US, they could watch me too, because it's the just illegal. Let me change the microphone. I make the official finishing of our tour. I hope that it works. That part. Okay, that's just I said that was just not a long tour. I want to keep the such pace. I prepare much more detailed, interesting facts around the Jewish quarter Kazimierz. That's why in the next live stream in 3 days and at 3 p.m. we're starting with a real history of the different corners that were not in the vlogs. That's why such live stream tours, they are complementary tours of vlogs. The vlogs are the same in the 3 days at the 6 p.m. the premiere, but the live stream is very spontaneous, and I said very important, independent of the weather. Sunshine, snow or storm, we going through the tour. I try to, but if there's any say circumstances, no, that's just I make that from home. Yes, but I wish you the excellent weekend. Stay happy and healthy, and we see in the next vlog in 3 days at the 3 p.m. That's why bye. Thank you very much.